It's 10 o'clock. Let's stand on the rock. Welcome to Worldwide Ramblings. My name is Jack Willard. I think that's my name. Jack Allen in 1977. Jack Allen. Um, Till 1979. Then I became Jack Willard at my hometown radio station. How's everybody doing tonight? Patrick was first, Ted, Brenda, and now we have an addition, Marty Greco, and the lion himself, the grand patriarch. I just changed your sex. I just changed you, Richard, from a rooster into a hen. And I know that's been threatened before for you. Cindy in South Louisiana. Hello, Jack and friends. Hi, Cindy. Cheryl Everhart. Hello, Cheryl. Hi, Jack and family. JFK Jr. will replace J.D. Vance as that guy 6 for VP. That's only because you probably had that prediction that Trump was going to pick. I've been studying up on this, that guy 6, and I'm going to get right to content because there are people that are watching like it's a pre-recorded video just for content, which means I'll miss some comments during that. I'll try to catch up, but I'm only one human being, just one bean, not two beans. I don't have two beans anymore. Karen Phillips, hello, hello, hello. Decay Wills is here. That's a good radio name for W. What's the call letters in New York City? WB, not WBAI. That's the listener supported station that I used to listen to when I was actually down there at one time. You didn't usually get paid if you were on there, but you were in New York City, in a very cool building too they had down there in Upper Manhattan. Sue Fenner, hi Jack and all. Bob Joyce and Trump will save America. Okay, you got to back these comments up there. Well, we've talked about WKRP, Marty. Yes, I used to watch that show. You know, I did. All aspiring DJs did. Downtown William Murphy joins us. Marlene Wilson, hi, Jack and all from South Carolina by way of California. Yeah, well, I can understand you leaving. I had enough of it after a solid year or so. I had enough. Barbara Kendall, Liberty Ridge, John, Carolyn, and Lauren are alive, and we're never on the plane. Prove it. Give me an email, Liberty Ridge, Jack the Fair Guy, Fair, Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. Boy, my back is itchy tonight. I need my back scratcher, and it's in the abyss somewhere. That wooden back scratcher you get at the dollar store. So, yeah, the gang is all here. I think I said hello to Barbara, and Cindy. I did, I know. So let's do a little content because if there's one thing people like Brenda and others have asked me to do, it's talk about JFK Jr., okay? I'm not going to break any new ground here. There are people that do videos on this. But, what I am is a storyteller, so sort of a synopsis, but, not well rehearsed, I'm going to be honest with you. But I've been studying. And now it's a matter of simply reading my own writing. I'm just checking for something here. Just want to verify something. Before I get to my notes, let's do a little reading here. John F. Kennedy Jr. began to pursue his interest in flying in December of 1997 and received his private pilot's license in April 1998. By the time he, Carolyn, and her sister Lauren took off for Martha's Vineyard on July 16th, 1999, he was certified to fly under visual flight rules, meaning he was able to use visual cues to guide him when weather conditions were favorable. Weather conditions were not favorable. However, he did not hold an instrument rating, meaning he was not proficient in using a plane's instruments to navigate through low visibility weather. Around 6:30 p.m. on the evening of his flight, Kennedy viewed a weather forecast that indicated visibility would be good during his flight. Yet by the time he took off from Fairfield at 8:38 p.m., the skies were hazier and visibility was reduced. Why did they clear him to fly? Kennedy likely became disoriented in the haze, as the National Transportation Safety Board concluded in a report it issued a year later, causing the plane to crash about an hour into its flight. When Kennedy didn't arrive at Hyannisport that evening, a relative reported him missing. The next morning, the U.S. Air Force and the Coast Guard launched a search for the plane. No need to rush, right? It's just John F. Kennedy Jr., his wife, and his sister-in-law. Searchers identified a suitcase belonging to Carolyn's sister, Lauren Bissett, on a beach in Martha's Vineyard, where the 34-year-old investment banker and twin sister of Lisa Ann Bissett had hoped to meet up with friends the evening before. As it became increasingly clear there would be no happy ending, there was shock, awe, and a palatable sense of grief, Anderson writes to History magazine. On July 21st, U.S. Navy divers, in other words, plane goes down on the 16th, 5 days later, on July 21st, U.S. Navy divers recovered the bodies of John, Carolyn, and Lauren from the plane's underwater wreckage. The next day, the Kennedy and Bissett families scattered their ashes. They were cremated, ladies and gentlemen, in record speed. It took 5 days to find the plane. They were supposedly all strapped into their seats, but like they were Hasidic Jews, they were they were cremated in record time. Reportedly, Senator Ted Kennedy had asked to see the bodies before the cremation, and he was denied such, and he was furious about it. They scattered their ashes at sea in a private ceremony. So no big, I'm sure there was a memorial, but there was no big real funeral for close friends and, of course, family. John's death really amplified the mythology around the Kennedys. Anderson adds, they are the closest thing in America to royal family, and John was their crown prince. Of course, the Kennedy family was not the only family that lost someone in the crash. Carolyn and Lauren's mother, Anne Freeman, later reached a wrongful death settlement with JFK Jr.'s estate. That's interesting, right? That's interesting. So back to where I can see myself in our live stream. There we are. So this is a chance for those that wanted to talk about this and wanted me to talk about it to do so. Evidence is always more preferable to just a blanket statement with nothing to support it. I say that during the Elvis / Bob Joyce investigation that we have done. I get people that come on here and say all kinds of things and don't offer a shred of evidence. They just say it. And so since I said it, it must be true, you know? I speak of possibilities myself. So, as we say, the bodies of the three on board were allegedly found on July 21st in the Atlantic Ocean, and they were cremated the very next day. Um, John F. Kennedy Jr. was 38, his wife 33, his sister Lauren Bissett 34. What was an inexperienced pilot who had never flown without an instructor doing flying on this night? It was the job of the control tower to say things have changed, John, in the last 2 hours. The conditions are not good now. Visibility is considerably lower. Also, a flight instructor, he had more than one flight instructor, offered to fly with him that night, and John F. Kennedy Jr. was reported to have refused. It is certainly easy for an inexperienced pilot to become disoriented in haze and fog and what have you, when he wasn't even certified to fly with just the instruments guiding him. He could easily become confused or even paranoid that his instruments were not telling him what the real truth was. So QAnon has an interest in this. I'm still studying about QAnon. I think it would be fair to say that Gene Ho, have you seen my Gene Ho interview? Please do. If you haven't, watch it again. I wouldn't mind at all. Gene Ho has an interest in Q. I'm still studying up on them. I'm certainly not advocating, I want to make that clear, for QAnon or the Proud Boys. I'm not in that club. But I'm interested about what they are and what they do, and the people that are interested in them. I think the QAnon subject is being broached in George Magazine. Gene Ho said on his TikTok account, he said, if I said that JFK Jr. was alive, would you believe me? If I said that Elvis Presley was alive, would you believe me? I speak of possibilities. So there was talk, yes, that President Trump's VP pick would be JFK Jr. That would be the great reveal. I remind you, of course, that Jr. was a Democrat. I don't think he would favor today's progressives because he was a lot smarter than that. I don't think his father would have endorsed the progressive agenda of today, which is, in my opinion, destroying America rapidly in the last 3.5 years, especially. So it didn't happen. J.D. Vance was picked, and now someone just said, well, J.D. Vance is going to be replaced by JFK. Alex, good day, Jack. Hello at 12:10 p.m. in beautiful Queensland, Australia. Sunday. Yes, it is. Here's somebody new. Robin Bittner. Have you watched the Gene Ho TikTok about a property scene with a Q and a pic of a dog like JJ had? A pic of a dog like John Jr., I guess you're saying, had? Alluding to the possibility that was JJ's property. I have not, Robin Bittner. But first of all, I want to welcome you because I don't recognize you being with us before. Doesn't mean you weren't looking in and I didn't know about it. You were like invisible. I want to be invisible sometimes, but it's for all the wrong reasons. Richard. No, I'll have to. I know that that's the place to find Gene at his most provocative. So I guess I've got to get on the TikTok more. I got to get on the TikTok more. Um, Hello, Red Hawk. Red Hawk is a woman, as I recall, from our midnight ramblings. This is our second time on today. We were on from midnight till like 2 a.m, doing really what is a promo for this program. 60 watching right now, 25 likes. Please hit the subscribe, the like button, and the notification bell. If you like the content that we're doing here, or if you like any of the things that we have done in the past, um, please consider hitting the thanks button with a tip. That's what the thanks button is. It's a tip on a credit card, $1, $2, $3, $5 or more. If you have been blessed and you want to bless me, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Nancy DeMarco. It's been a while, right, Nancy? Hello, Nancy DeMarco. We've missed you. Hello. Sandra Warren, not Leslie Ann Warren. Hello, Jack and family. Jack, you are going to catch a chest cold. Richard always wants to talk about I'm just going to button a button for this picky patriarch. Say that fast 5 times to Richard. Picky patriarch. Picky patriarch. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Alidocious? Who is Alidocious? Did she fake her death? I'm wondering about that, Richard. Pamela, a.k.a. Pambo, which always makes me want to break out in a song. Oh, Pambo, well, they came and you came and you gave without taking, but they sent you away. I know I've done that before. I worry about you. Me too. I got concerned, Richard, and my therapist had to cancel an appointment because he was in the hospital with a nervous breakdown. Barry Manilow, coming to Austin, Texas. My ex would like to go. Well, I'm, sending her money, so maybe she can. I would love it if she could, We had a friendly divorce for the most part, and she's the mother of my children, so, I love her and I really wish her the best, and I'm doing my best for her. Fortunately, my retirement is small, but we're working on it. Who's in the crowd behind Trump? Who's that? Oh, not that guy. I knew this was going to happen. I said it to Karen when we were watching the rally. There was a guy with his face looked nothing like Elvis Presley, okay? But he had a white beard and white hair and a cap. And I said to Karen, here it is. I'm going to hear that, oh, there's Elvis, And I think this guy has been there before. You're right about that. And it doesn't look like the gardener either. The gardener has a thinner face. Bob has a thinner face. And I know you're saying that the beard is fake. I get that part. But I'm just not feeling it. I think if President Trump were to say that, he'd be joking. Richard. Oh, yes. So we have 2 Warrens then. We have Jane Warren and the other Warren, Sue Warren, Sandra. I'm sorry. Hey, Jack, any chance you've heard of a Axel Vassa here on YouTube? No, I have not. Tell me about Axel Vassa. I have not. Oh, my good. You mean, but not the guy with a big white beard, right? Not him. It's funny. This guy who does conspiracy theories, and I tried to find him again. I know I wrote notes and I couldn't find them. So I had to start all over again. Yeah. I was like John Lennon starting all over, hoping that there wasn't some madman outside my apartment. But this guy had pictures up and he didn't comment on them. One of them was JFK Jr. facing the ocean And the implication this was a recently taken photo. Well, my goodness, he looked great, from what we could see from the back. And I'm not talking about, what you think I'm talking about. I'm talking about we could see his head, but also there was a, a, a a picture of him from the front. And I'll tell you, he hadn't aged a day. It was like the picture was taken in the 90s. So I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with that. Um, it is interesting that Ted Kennedy couldn't see the bodies and was furious about it. It is interesting that it took 5 days to find the plane, but the Atlantic Ocean is the Atlantic Ocean. So let's see what you're saying about it. Sue Fenner, I think, is now going to say John Denver is alive too. All her favorites are alive from the past. No one ever comes on here and says Ernest Borgnine faked his death. Shelley Winters faked her death. No, it's never that. It's Lady Di. It's Michael Jackson. It's Jim Morrison was one of the early ones. Here I go flapping my gums so fast again. Yeah. Um, it's never the mom on Everybody Loves Raymond faked her death. I'm just saying, Elizabeth Gilbert. I think we have to draw a line on all the death faking. I mean, I guess I tend to agree with you there, Elizabeth Gilbert. Thomas, I want to say Philippi because that would sound cool, but you're not saying that. Say Philippi because that would sound cool, but you're not saying that. Um, I mean, your name isn't saying that really, is what I'm saying. And I don't have my dollar. I think I left them downstairs. Flipsy. Flippy. I don't know. How is Jim? Um, I hope he made it to heaven. That's all I can say. Okay. Philipse. I don't know. If there's a way to mispronounce it, Thomas, I always will. I'll find it. Where are you from? Stefan is here, hijacking everyone. Robin Bittner, check out the Corona beer commercial where all the celebrities are hiding out on a deserted island. It's hilarious. Oh, okay. See, I watch Fox News a lot, and you don't see Corona beer on there. You just don't. I don't watch broadcast TV much. Um, in fact, almost none. I was watching The Good Doctor over the years, but that's done now. I wish Freddie Highmore would play Norman Bates again and go back and do the whole series again, but don't ruin the ending like you did last time. It was a great show, though, for 5 years on what, A&E? A&E. But now I see it on Prime Video, 50 episodes, 5 seasons, and it's wonderful if you want to see some great drama done right. Bates Motel, and I don't think they put commercials in there much, so you can just see one after another. You can binge it, is what I'm saying, Belinda. Oh yes, Trump was speaking tonight, right? And I always like to see that, but I was preparing here, so I couldn't. My Big Brother wore your T-shirt way back in the '80s. So which Jim am I supposed to be? Somebody said I looked like Louis Anderson once, and no, Louis didn't fake his death either. Uh, so that wasn't the most complimentary thing I ever heard. Someone said John Candy. Well, at least he was good looking. He was just like 450 pounds when he died. Um, so you might want to email me a reminder of some of this stuff because otherwise I'll be forever looking through the stream later. Michael Milano is here. Jack, what is your email again? Jack the Fair Guy. FAIR, like you're going to the carnival. We've got the Orange County Fair running through tomorrow, and we've got the Otisville Fair running through tomorrow. They never usually run opposite each other. I think that was a bad decision. They literally could be having fireworks on the same night. I think maybe the fireworks in Otisville were tomorrow night. I didn't hear any boom diddy booms. I didn't. Um, but that is it. Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. You have to be specific, Sue. I don't know what you're saying. And I have to hear the quote, of course, from Gene, exactly what he said. And she's saying Prince now. So pretty much everybody you loved is faked their death, right? So is that what you're saying? Diana, yeah, of course. What do we do with you, Sue? What do we do with you? Um, I'm going to fake my death and move to Benton, Arkansas. Well, that's they'll find you. They'll know you're there, Elizabeth. They'll come a looking for you, and that black wig, that long-haired black wig you're going to be wearing, and uh, glasses with a tint. It's not going to be enough. It's just not going to be enough. Um, Marilyn Monroe died 4 years ago. That reminds me of a funny story, Sue Fenner. So I don't believe that, but I do have a Marilyn Monroe story. She was notorious for being late to the movie set, and people like Tony Curtis may not have been the greatest husband, but he was a professional actor who, was there on time. And he and another famous actor who I wasn't sure, since he didn't say the last name, who he was referring to, they had to dress up as women in this movie at some point. At some point. Later on, he wouldn't be dressed as a woman and he would have a kissing scene with Marilyn Monroe. But anyway, he confirmed that she was extremely difficult to work with. Some of it was because she wasn't feeling well. She had issues and things like that. But he said that when it came to the kissing scene, kissing Marilyn Monroe was like kissing Hitler. Oh boy. Some people said she wasn't, what's a nice word of saying, she wasn't really as fresh as she could have been. So Tony was, and he said that while she was still alive, that kissing her was like kissing Hitler. And the British, not Graham, but the other one, said, "Oh, did she have a little mustache?" Oh, jeez. As the great Norm Macdonald said to David Letterman, he said, "This Hitler guy, the more I read up on him, the less I like him." Jeez. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Yeah. So glad you're here, Stephen. I am. And let's go down. Marilyn Monroe sure didn't go over well with Elvis. I think I've heard some reasons why that might be. um, Anastasia is here. Hello, Anastasia. Got more rain in Lafayette today. It's been a rainy day. Well, I'm not too far from Lafayette, New Jersey. That's where Wayne Momblo is. His program that's been on for years. Let's Talk About Jesus. Is it still on? I don't know, but it was good radio from Loving Grace Ministries in Lafayette, New Jersey. Wayne Momblo. See if you can find that. You'll be blessed if you're looking for something different. Something different. Jimmy Maybe is here offering prayers to Brenda. Jack Lemmon says Jane Justice was Tony Curtis's co-star in that movie with Marilyn Monroe. Oh yeah, I could see that. Jack Lemmon was up for things like that. One of my favorites of all times. I can't say that about Tony Curtis. I don't know if I ever saw a complete movie with Tony Curtis. What I did see, I liked, but I didn't. I wasn't a Tony Curtis fan. Before Jamie Lee became all woke and stuff, I used to like her. Just looking if there's a cough drop or anything here. Preparation is 9/10 of the law, you know. Aha! I found one. Not that I'm having a cold or anything like that. I've just got a little tickle in my throat. Thomas Felipe, that's what I want to call you. You don't mind, do you? It just rolls off the tongue so much easier to call you Felipe. So we're glad to have Anastasia with us. I dropped it on the floor. Ay, 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 ay. Somebody else sing the rest of it. Do you know the language, Ted? So there were oddities in the JFK Jr. story. I admit to that. Robin says Gene is such a cool guy. I've been to Household of Faith 3 times, and I've come to know him somewhat personally. He is a very nice guy, yeah. That's what people say. Jack, I feel in my heart of hearts you're an extra special person. No, actually, I'm a miserable sinner who does good things on occasion. Anybody that worked with me in the past, whether it be in radio, whether it be as a peace officer, with rare exceptions, and in any of my other jobs would say, Jack's a really nice guy. My ex-wives would not tell you that. They wouldn't. They would say that I was, there were 2 or 3 sides to me. A lot of it brought on by anxiety. When you have anxiety, you have to work extra hard to check what comes out of your mouth. You know, you have to work extra hard at it. If you're tired working the overnight shift, as I did for 17 years, you're never quite slept out, even though you take a nap at work. We did most of the time. But you know, you never get 8 hours total. You go home and you sleep for another 2-3 hours, and then that's it. You try to take a nap in the evening sometimes, and you can't do it. Sunday nights into Monday, if I had the weekend off, I had every other weekend off when I was a peace officer. That was the worst because you've slept in a bed for 2 nights, and now you're going back to the strange overnight world. I always said best shift, worst hours. Elizabeth Gilbert says, I love Duck Dynasty and both podcasts. Yes, if you want to see the latest Duck Dynasty creation, it's on Fox Nation. They just put up a new season. They're treasure hunting now, the Duck Dynasty people. So that's what they do now. 10 episodes a year, maybe, you know, that kind of thing. Oh, let her give me a big head there, Richard. Compliments will get you everything. But thank you, Red Hawk. Sometimes it's true, you know. I feed animals when I see that they're hungry. I cannot stand not to feed an animal. Anytime I've ever seen animals that live somewhere, if I can't take them, and I usually can't, I go and I buy food and I come back and I feed them. And then I'm thinking I got to do it again and again. Any security posts that had feral cats around, I think I fed this one black cat at Middletown Honda where I worked for 6 years. I think it was going on 2 years. He'd be waiting for me. You know, he'd be right there by the tree waiting for me. No, he knew I was coming. And you know, did some fun things with the kids and tried to be a good dad, but I fell short of that sometimes, you know, being tired and grumpy, and I felt like I was trapped in being a peace officer when I was meant for other things, but it meant a pension and what have you. And you know, so I worked a lot of overtime because I didn't want my first wife to have to work till the kids were at least in school. So, you know, there's the good and the bad, like everybody else, I suppose. But there are definitely changes of the past I would make. I would change some things up. So you love the treasure hunting show, Elizabeth Gilbert. You do, huh? We have 79 watching right now. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Our goal now is 10,000 subscribers, and we got a ways to go. Please hit the like button if you like anything that you see here, notification bell, and if you are so moved, please hit the thanks button with a small tip, $1, $2, $5, $10. That helps me here this is basically my job now, at 68 years old. And, I'm pressed more than usual. I'm pressed more than usual to make this a living. Obviously, the videos are monetized, but unless they go to multi thousands of hits, they don't make a lot of money. They don't make a lot of money. So anyone that throws in a tip, especially new people that haven't done it before, for any amount, small or large, I appreciate it very, very much. And I will be sure to acknowledge you. I have a list of people here that have, and I'll probably read that again tonight um, before we leave. I sound a bit congested. I don't know. I don't feel that. I haven't had any of those episodes. I certainly hope I don't have to go through that another time, running to the urgent care for another antibiotic. Belinda's going to try to hit the like button. Let me know when you find it. Thank you for the reminder. I usually remind people to hit it. Yeah, I want to live in Benton. I think I'd feel a lot better in daily life. So we put up a video, that's doing okay, but it's certainly not setting the night on fire. It's a short 7-minute video noting what was publicly posted on Bob Joyce official site, that public posting that they have begun to do some work inside the horse stable, which is not in Benton, but a few minutes outside of Benton, but in the same county in Arkansas, about 10 minutes from where the church is right now. And they're clearing out some of the horse stables. They've set up some lighting and stuff like that to do that. It's very hot weather, of course, in Arkansas. But I think if you put in a central air conditioning unit, that will, that will stop you from waiting. Gene Ho had predicted that it might not be ready till July of 2025 or even Christmas 2025. And, I expressed that just doesn't make sense when you're overflowing in the fellowship hall. You just got to do better than that. I mean, the Amish would have it up in 3 months. They would have the renovations done. I know there's people out there that love Pastor Bob Joyce, including down in Mar-a-Lago, the people that visit there, and maybe the people who live there, that would certainly be willing to contribute to that. And there's no reason it can't be up by Christmas. There's absolutely no reason. It can't all be volunteers, I don't think, either. You certainly couldn't build this big show place for God with just volunteers. That would be in the year 2525, if man is still alive, which he won't be. If woman can survive, which she won't be able to, you gotta do it faster than that. So I'm thinking the conviction I got in my being is that this could turn out to be the church, and you're going to have to put up a prefab building or something for the fellowship hall, which can be put up very quickly. And of course, that's more money, but imagine what the sanctuary will cost. So do that and then move on from there, I would say. But it can be done pretty quickly, I would say. And to which they say, who is this Willard guy think he is? Who is this Willard guy think he is? I'm just trying to be helpful. Fill a need. Obviously, the normal way is go to 2 or 3 services. That ain't going to be happening. So you gotta, if you build it, they will come. They're coming anyway. That's the problem. That's what makes it urgent. Urgent by Lou Graham and Foreigner. Yeah, baby. Pembo talking to Selena. Sometimes people share their household of faith stories in my email, jackthefairguy@gmail.com, jackthefairguy@gmail.com. And it's best to write a story like include the parts you want me to put in. In other words, write me a story, write me an essay like you're back in school. This was my experience at Household of Faith. This way, you're not putting in anything in there that you wouldn't want me to read on the air. And I don't have to give your name, but if there, you decide you're writing copy for air, I may have to edit it a little bit if I think something is over the line or poorly written or something. I have to do that. But for the most part, I'll leave it in check. I'll leave it in check. Yes, that's right, Jane Justice. A stable was where Jesus was born and began life on earth. That's true. That's true. Ted is talking about conspiracies, but I don't know who they is. Is that your pronoun now, Ted? They? Or is it them? I'm not sure. Who is Vincent Fusca? Who is he? Faith Lloyd, welcome. I almost missed you. I had to backtrack here. Hey, Jack, hope you and Karen are doing well. Yes, this is Faith from Cincinnati. Welcome again. Belinda, talking about JFK Jr., alive or not. I guarantee you the man's alive and his wife. Belinda, don't be mad at me, but those kind of guarantees need to be backed up with factual proof. I could come on here and say Captain Kangaroo is alive, and most of you would say, who the heck is Captain Kangaroo? I thought he was murdered by Mr. Green Jeans. Big feats. I think I've heard something about this, Ted, but it's out of my wheelhouse. What did I do, Jack? See, if you just say that, and especially as I look back, yeah, let's talk about Sasquatch, right? Hunting for Bigfoot. He's downstairs. Discovery never comes. Discovery Channel's, I guess it's on the Travel Channel now. Who knows? That other channel that's more obscure with the Mountain Monsters, Munster. The Mountain Munster people used to be. I used to watch those guys. They never found a single monster, but they were very entertaining. They were very entertaining as they searched for these monsters. Sometimes I used to say monsters, and that means I'm talking about a great TV show from the 60s. Yes, Marilyn was the plain one on that show. Marilyn was funny stuff. Of course, Yvonne DiCarlo was beautiful, and I was going to say Vincent Van Patrick, thinking of Vincent Van Patten, probably, son of Dick Van Patten. 8 is enough. Vincent was actually a teen idol for a little bit in the 70s. He was on a show, maybe Apple's Way. Was he on there with Ronnie Cox? I'm trying to think of all these things now. Go into my... with that said, Pamela, I think there's been some evidence of something that looks like a Sasquatch out there. Some convincing video, but they haven't caught one. So I can miss stuff in the stream, gang, because it comes pretty fast. And when I'm looking back, I'm not looking to what's coming up right now, but I will and say hello to Joy Bird. I think that Bigfoot was the giants in the Bible. Okay. You mean those giants still exist? Selena M says to Cindy, that really dates us, those of us who remember Captain Kangaroo. Uh, Man, we're old, LOL. And of course, we talked about Mr. Green Jeans, but what about Mr. Moose? And in that same era was Diver Dan. Anybody remember Diver Dan? Used to watch him. I'd love to see that again. I don't know. It's probably on MeTV or something. I don't know. I haven't found it. It's probably here on YouTube. Joy Stevenson is here saying hello to Brenda. That's the popular choice as Boyd. Boyd is here. That's the soap opera name I always talk about. Pat Priest is still alive. So is Eddie. Well, yes, I was going to say Butch Patrick comes to Middletown quite a bit. He's been here 2 or 3 times when I say quite a bit. What he does is he comes to a place in downtown called Rock Fantasy here, and he signs some autographs and pictures and what have you, kind of a meet and greet. And then he goes over to the former Middletown Lanes, now called Quinn's Pins, and it's bowling with Eddie Munster night. Yeah, you get to you have to pay for this privilege, but Butch needs to make money, gang. If you don't understand, so you can bowl with Eddie Munster right there at Quinn's Pins. Quinn's Pins on Railroad Avenue in Middletown. I bet you he does it again because he's done it at least twice already. Butch Patrick. I should go next time, right? Go meet Butch Patrick. But yeah, and Jay North is still very much alive. Dennis the Menace. He did a few movies afterwards and what have you. He wrote a book telling about his horrible experience with his parents, and his TV mother was the kindest woman in his life, and the gentleman, thinking the name Anderson, I'm trying to think of his real last name. He was very nice too. As was Ken Osmond, Eddie Haskell, etc., etc. I just switched to Beaver though, didn't I? I've switched to Beaver, Richard. I've switched to Beaver. That is in Leave It to Beaver. I went from Dennis the Menace to Leave It to Beaver with Jerry Mathers, who's still doing all those fan conventions, signing away. But unfortunately, Tony Dow passed away. What was it, in 2023 early or 2022? He used to be with him all the time. Tony Dow was wonderful. He was a wonderful, nice man. Liked to do carpentry and make carve things and stuff like that. So we remember Tony Dow. Wally, yes. Lumpy's dead, I think. Well, we know Lumpy ate too much. See, that's the problem. I should listen and think about that. Carol Lynn is here. And Ted Richards says, yes, I was talking about a beaver named Jerry Mathers, Ted Richards. And Pamela was Walter Brennan. Pamela was Walter Brennan on that show? Walter Brennan. I don't remember Walter on a TV show, but that doesn't mean anything. I know you're not talking to me, but I'll just throw in my 2 cents. Pamela was Walter Brennan on that show. I remember him, of course, as the star of The Three McCoys. The real McCoys. What the heck am I saying? The Three McCoys, like the Three Stooges. I think I've been drinking what Richard's drinking. Hi, Kay, again. I saw you go by real quick there. Sue Fenner once says, watch his videos, whoever his videos are. Mr. Magoo, Ted Richards. That was the guy from Gilligan's Island who did that, right? Jim Backus was Mr. Magoo. Have I got that right? I think so. Jim Backus did a whole lot of voices. Very gifted man. And he was great as Thurston Howell. Was it the third? Thurston Howell the third on Gilligan's Island. They went on a 3-hour cruise, but they brought enough clothes for 2 years. And I'm talking elaborate nightgown, evening gowns, and you saw how Thurston Howell dressed. He was snappy. He had all the clothes, and occasionally a guest would come onto the island somehow or another, but they never begged the guests to either notify someone that they were there, or take them all back with him. And the professor, played by Mr. Johnson, Russell Johnson, right? Always was the question was always posed to him: if you could build a radio into a coconut, why can't you fix the boat? Done on the same set as where they did MASH, by the way. After Gilligan's Island, that set turned into MASH. It did. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that, Nancy and Terry Whitmore. How are you guys? Hey, Jack. I'm just popping in to pop off. Well, that's okay. We did that at midnight, but we called it Midnight Ramblings, and we rambled for almost 2 hours there. Somebody, I think it was Patrick Viola, said, "Are we going for 4 hours tonight?" No, Patrick. I don't have the voice for it. Got to hit the hay in a few minutes. I see. I will finish watching on the replay. Well, I love my replay crowd. Hi, replay crowd. Thank you, replay crowd, for joining us. Eventually, the thanks button will appear in your video. It doesn't always appear right away, I notice, in the rebroadcast, but eventually it miraculously, mysteriously pops in. So that is really cool. Marlene says Petticoat Junction after Captain Kangaroo, I think. Well, Captain Kangaroo was a morning show, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday, as I recall. Petticoat Junction, of course, you might have been seeing the rerun, was an evening show with B. Benedict, what was her name? And, of course, Edgar Buchanan as Uncle Joe. And then there were the three ladies. And I know their names. Somebody help me with their names. I do believe they formed a group, those three, called the Ladybugs for a while, and sang. They were like they were kind of playing off the Beatles. We're the Ladybugs. And I hear the fireworks now at 5 minutes to 11. That can't be professional fireworks. That's got to be the neighbors. You won't hear it though, but I do hear fireworks, and those boys next door are going to be all ticked off. They believe fireworks should be banned from the planet. Oh dear. Some people forget that they were once young themselves, Gorgeous, and gorgeous. Who? The three ladies from Petticoat Junction? Well, one of them was, oh, come on now. I got to get those names, those three names. From Petticoat Junction. Yeah. So talk amongst yourselves. No, I can talk as I do this, because one of them. The daughters, the characters, Billy Joe, Bobby Joe, and Betty Joe, and Uncle Joe Carson. Come on now, give me their real names. Their real names, not their character names. I'm looking at a picture of them here. Wish I could show you, but those kind of technical skills, I've B. Benaderet played the mother. Yes, B. Benaderet. Then she got sick in the last season, and they replaced her with June Lockhart, Lost in Space, Lassie, etc., and she is still alive in 2024. June Lockhart, but B. Benaderet played the mom. I don't know why I'm having such trouble finding their real names. I'll find one here. Jeannie Riley, born in 1940. That's not Jeannie C. Riley. That's why she had to become Jeannie C. Riley. We just found it out because it was already, well, this is Janine. Scratch that. Janine Riley, born in 1940, was the oldest of the girls, with Lori right behind her, born 1941. I know there was a famous girl. Maybe she wasn't there at the start, though. So this is confusing me even more as I try to look this up in real time. Laurie Sanders was one of them. Linda Kay Henning was Betty Jo. I remember that name, Linda Kay Henning, but there was somebody I thought more famous than that. Pat Woodell. Yeah, they did change characters here. They did change actresses. Pat Woodell, 71, dies. She was one of the original Petticoat Junction sisters. And I think there's somebody more famous than that was on Petticoat Junction. Let me go back to the live stream here. Maybe you've given me some answers. Well, Jay North was not one of the girls, Ted, on Petticoat Junction. I'm sure of that. I'm sure of that. Lumpy and Eddie Haskell are dead. Oh, Eddie is dead? Okay. He was a New York City cop, Eddie Haskell. I knew Lumpy was dead. I guess I could kind of do Whitey's dead too, huh? Yeah. Oh, boy. No, of course, Jack. So what TV character was on both Green Acres and Petticoat Junction? Because if you remember, Petticoat Junction was in the same territory as Green Acres, supposedly. Hooterville. That's the name, Marianne Rossi, not Donna Rossi. I knew it, but I couldn't say it. I knew there was someone more famous than the ladies I was mentioning, and Marianne Rossi from the great state of New Jersey would be a lot greater if they had a better governor. She comes up with Meredith McRae. Yes, exactly. That's the most famous of the girls, Meredith McRae. And let's see, was she on? She wasn't on Family Ties, right? Was she? Was she on Family Ties as Michael's mother? All these things are flashing before my eyes. I just know that Meredith wrote a book. She was upset with somebody. Like her former husband or something. It's all coming back to me, but not in a cohesive way. So it's not going to help me here on air. But what character? Sue Fenner is saying Hoss. Hoss? That sounds like somebody from Bonanza. What TV character was on both Green Acres and Petticoat Junction? He played the same character on both shows. I said a he, yeah, so that helps you, right? Thank you, Marianne. How you been? Good to see you again. That's right, Mr. Drucker, Boyd Malilla. Mr. Drucker from Drucker's. Before there were quick checks and all those fancy convenience store, there was Mr. Drucker's General Store. This guy lived a long life. I'm going to say Frank Cady, right? Frank Cady played Mr. Drucker. He was a lot of fun. He was. 5 points for Boyd. All right, I agree to that. And Meredith Baxter, 10 points. But Marianne Rossi got it first, so you know. Sam D was on both. What's that last part of that word, Joy Bird? Sam D. Mr. Haney. I don't think he was on Petticoat Junction, was he? I don't remember Mr. Haney. He was great though. Um, here's Sheena Senef joins us. Where are you from, Sheena? Not Sheena Easton, but Sheena Senef. Mr. Haney, you think he was on Petticoat Junction too? I know Arnold wasn't. Arnold wasn't. No, but both shows were great. They were a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I mean, I would guess Petticoat Junction would hold up less than Green Acres. Um, kind of hokey and all that, but I loved it. I loved it. Who told people Elvis was alive? Jeannie C. Riley, right? Yeah. Not the Jeannie, not Janine Riley, one at one time one of the Petticoat Junction girls, but in some incarnation they were the Ladybugs music group. I just don't know. I'd have to look on Spotify maybe, see if I could find it there. A song everybody should check out is the new John Rich song. There's a great Tucker Carlson interview up with John Rich. It's called Revelation, all about the book of Revelation. And, John Rich doesn't have a recording contract anymore because, the woke people threw him out. He is he draws big crowds everywhere he goes, but when you're not woke, they throw you out. That's democracy. Of course, that there's a perfect example that the people yelling that we have to save democracy are the very people that are anti-democracy. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So check it out. I've been listening to it on Spotify. Terrific. Here's Mona Charisse Voldbraut. Yes, JFK is still alive. Well, I like the statement. Now give me something to back it up. Give me something to back it up. You can always do that on the email too, Jack the Fair Guy, Fair, Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. I could do about at this point 50 reasons Bob Joyce could be Elvis. Should I do that update video? 50 reasons Bob Joyce could be Elvis. Something like that. Hello, Leslie. And again, welcome, Mona. Like to know where you're from and let us know your insight into JFK Jr. We're open to hearing it. Heck, Art Bell covered a bunch of topics during his broadcast career, and he never endorsed really any of them. UFO topic is the only one you could probably say you knew for sure he believed in. Why would JFK Jr., we're talking about, right, fake his death? Well, there are people that believe this and they believe that. I went through some of the things. You have to watch the replay because we went through some of the information. But, as I have said, Mona, there are people that the people they enjoyed most, Lady Di, Michael Jackson, JFK Jr., obviously Elvis, but that's something we cover here and we only speak of possibilities. We can't have proof because it's not time yet. You can have all the proof that leads up to the reveal, though. All the proof that leads up to the reveal. It can't be just that, well, I heard somebody say it, I mean, how likely would that be to be true? I know Claire Kelly Clarkson had no idea that was going to happen. What was going to happen? Her first name is really Claire. You're talking about the Kelly Clarkson from, what was it, American Idol, right? I know The Voice has never produced one big star, not one. But American Idol has. American Idol has. Thomas is saying Prince for president, LOL. That's another one. That's another one. Yes, do that video. 50 reasons probably. By the time you do it, there'll be another 10 more. That's funny, Marianne Rossi, not Donna Rossi. Reason I say not Donna Rossi is Karen and I went to school with a Donna Rossi. And I think she still lives in this area. I think very close to me, actually. And I think we have some furniture from her parents. She invited us to come when they were moving in with her and what have you, and there just wasn't room for stuff in their big house. Um, yeah, Jody. You want to elect Kamala Harris, get rid of your gas stoves, get rid of your gas vehicle, your weed whacking. No more whacking there, Richard, unless you use an electric weed whacker, unless you use a electric weed whacker. But you're in the free state of Florida, so you're pretty good. You're pretty good, Richard. I'll say that. You'll be whacking in 110 degrees, weed whacking in 110 degrees, but you'll be able to use gas in your instrument. So, yeah, I talk about this in the Trump derangement syndrome. And I make the very important point that expect a brand new Kamala now. The word salads and the laughing is all going to be, she'll laugh once in a while. She can't help herself. But mostly it's all going to be very scripted, written by very talented writers. They're going to spend $1 billion if they have to get her elected. So this is the fight of the lifetime. Trump is getting rock star crowds wherever he goes. We saw the energy at the Republican convention, but they are going to try every way they possibly can. And if all that fails and Trump wins, they'll say, well, we can't have a convicted felon assume the office of president of the United States. So it'll become a Supreme Court thing. They'd like to abolish the Supreme Court. We've gone through all who Kamala Harris is. So if all you're going to vote about is on the abortion issue, and you're for total free choice completely, and you're going to make that the central issue, the fruit of your labor will be in so many other ways. You will see this country fall into the abyss. In so many ways. It's already happened a lot in the last 3.5 years, possibly World War III. Xi and Putin now fully understand, like they didn't already, that we have a president who is severely in cognitive decline. And just like Putin said, wow, look at this guy Biden. I've wanted the Ukraine for a long time. I would have never done this under Trump. I like Trump. We got along good. I wouldn't want to do anything to jeopardize that. But this is the man. This bumbling man is my excuse, because I believe that there was a huge Nazi presence, that they broke away unfairly and all that, and this is the time to grab the Ukraine. He didn't expect as much resistance, and yes, American aid, $200 billion has certainly helped that, but there's been so many hundreds of thousands of people killed, massive death on both sides. You cannot win a war against Vladimir Putin. He has the best nukes of anybody, and tactical nukes. He doesn't want to use them in Kyiv because he fears they would bleed into Poland. And despite what the Nimrods say, he does not want a nuclear war. Would he go for some other small patch of land other than the Ukraine? Possibly, but nothing in a NATO country. Nothing in a NATO country. So vote Trump. Anything else is a throwaway vote. You vote for Kamala, and you're voting for a socialist republic, which will mean a loss of your rights. We've already lost rights, and will be crashing economy, possibly World War III. We could go on and on and on. Forced to have an electric car. And they don't want you to go far. That's another thing they like about electric cars. They want to be able to control you in every way, shape, and form. God's will be done. We got to pray about this one every day. Hunter Elgin, hi. Hello, Jack. I'm convinced Bob Joyce is Elvis. What convinced you? What tipped the scales for you? I grew up listening to Elvis and know his voice. Well, so you kind of say that there, yeah. Don't expect much cackling, Ted. She's going to sound smart now. That's the big thing. She's got very gifted people working for her. And, she'll even be nicer to her staff starting now. 20 people quit on her or she fired them. What a terrible record she has in everything she ever did, and a lot of inaction in every job she ever did. But I don't know. There's so many people. I'm just going to say it plainly. In my opinion, there's so many people that are not smart and are going to vote for her based on the abortion issue, whatever. Trump has made it clear he's for 15 weeks. He's for all the exceptions. He doesn't want a universal ban on abortion. He says you got to follow your own heart. He understands that, but you also have to win elections. And he means for future elections too. J.D. Vance, and people that are moving on. I understand those of you still think that John F. Kennedy Jr., John Kennedy Jr., I'll get it right, um, will replace J.D. Vance. That's like the people. And I did say I was going to talk more about the input of the Bob Joyce critics. That's the second part, which I will now get into now as we quickly look to see if there's any new names. Kamala introduces she induces the funnies, not the comics, on the New York Times. I'll have to think about, or informs, or whatever word you're saying. Anyway, in terms of the critics, the Bob Joyce critics, they were trying to fly the thing. You see Walina back here. Well, I speak of possibilities. This could be Walina with Elvis Presley, or I could be wrong. We see Walina. And Pastor Bob Joyce there. We see another shot of Elvis and a girl who looks a lot like Walina. We think is Walina Joyce. Her father would have been serving in Germany, and that's how she met Elvis. And she's younger than Elvis. No surprise there. Okay. So someone tried to tell me that was Sigrid Schultz, and I said, no, that's not Sigrid Schultz. I don't have these photos available right now, but I do have them. Sigrid Schultz was a friend of this young lady here, and I have a picture of Sigrid with this person who we think to be Walina and Elvis Presley all together. And I have to say that Walina is the most attractive there, if that should be Walina. That young lady with Elvis, who was his girlfriend for a time, was more attractive. So when you nail something like that, there's a long pause, and then they come back with those usual words. What you have is photoshopped. If I can't come up with anything else, I'll say it's photoshopped. And then there's a man who watches the Gene Ho interview, and all he has to say is, well, did he say he was Elvis? And someone asked, why didn't you just ask him if Bob Joyce was Elvis? I shouldn't have to answer these questions, but obviously Gene Ho is loyal to Pastor Bob Joyce. If Elvis himself had faked his death, all that loved him would follow the lead and be loyal to the story. They would be loyal to the story. The way it could be okay for a pastor to change his name, who used to be Elvis Presley, is it became God ordained. That was God's path. God's ways are not our ways. He doesn't answer to you or to me. He does things the way he wants to do. And the new name in Christ is Bob Joyce. So I'm Bob Joyce, and he'll die Bob Joyce. I'm pretty sure he'll die Bob Joyce. So, and of course, the critics continue to say in various forms, leave him alone. He wants to be left alone. And I always say, or I often say, so in order to be left alone, he began an international ministry on YouTube. That's the way to be left alone. It doesn't jive. It doesn't mesh. Elvis protectors. It just doesn't mesh. Um, so the critics are, continuing to say the same things, and I get the feeling they never watch a video. They just come on like this is a Facebook group, and they type in this, and they often they if you press them. Thank you for the 71 likes, 68 people viewing right now. Hello, replay crowd. Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, the like button, the notification bell. Sometimes we pop on to pop off. Those of you who hit the thanks button with a small tip, $1, $2, $5, or whatever is on your heart, also greatly appreciated. Sometimes in our replay, it takes a while for the thanks button to get there, but you can go to something like the Gene Ho interview video, and you can hit the thanks button there. It all is the same, So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's if you like the content here, if you appreciate the family here and what have you. Always looking for new people to do it, not the same people that feel they need to do it again. They bless my heart, but I'm always hoping a few new people do that, and whatever amount feels right to you. So as long as people aren't nasty, if they come on to lecture the entire crew here, come on, you guys, come on, this, that, the other, it's just not for here. It's just not for here. People come on and they just are so tired of all this. Why are you here? I don't go on channels that I am so tired of. I don't. What you're really saying is, I want to control everybody. I want my one voice to end the topic. And there is a person that could do that, certainly, besides the Lord himself, obviously. And that's Pastor Bob Joyce, by giving me a video call and saying he liked the topic taken down. And, it would be yes, sir. It would be yes, sir. I've been saying that since 2018, and I don't know of any other creator that says that. I don't know of any other creator. Who's married, Sandra Warren? Not Leslie Ann Warren. Who's married? I just saw that. Thank you, Marlene Wilson. Good night, Jack and all. Yeah, people talk about Bob Joyce not wearing a wedding ring. I didn't like to wear a wedding ring. Or a watch. I just was very conscious of it, so I would wear it sometimes, but I didn't wear it all the time. But some men don't wear it for other reasons. My hubby and I are married, says Cindy, and my husband does not wear a ring. A lot of men don't like jewelry. Doesn't bother me at all. We are faithful to each other. Legal marriage is not in the Bible. Legal marriage didn't happen to well into the 1900s. So what the Bible must be talking about is a commitment, vows before God. We're also told not to make a vow if you feel you can't keep it. I should have remembered that. I should have remembered that in my past mistakes, that I had taken vows. I am without excuse, relying on the blood of Christ. What can I tell you? That's all I have. You're not leaving, Brenda. You never really actually leave. I don't believe you. Jimmy Samples, not Junior Samples from Hee Haw. Hi, Jack. How are you? Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I forget where you are from, Jimmy. There's just so many towns to remember. Gail George joins us. Good show tonight, Jack. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. It's really just, friendly chit-chat with a little bit of information. Kathleen Wiedenbacher, also known as Kathleen Whataburger. My dad couldn't wear a ring because of safety reasons as an electrician. Philippi, West Virginia? Really, Jimmy Samples? That's cool. Very nice. Very nice. I'd like to see West Virginia again. It's been a long time now. It's been a long time. So, yeah, but people do bring that up about the wedding ring thing. Is Pastor Bob Joyce legally married to Walina Joyce? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know, and I don't judge. I don't judge. Do I believe that Walina married Robert Wayne Joyce? In 1975? In 1975, there she is, looking real young. Did that guy transform into the current pastor of Household of Faith, who looks very much like Elvis Presley? Of course not. Of course not. The head is shaped differently and everything. No. But as that guy got older and his hair grayed, his hair went whitish gray, he did kind of look more like the man that was once known as the king of rock and roll. But you can easily tell the difference, and we show the pictures in various videos. The weird thing, though, is that it looks like there's more than one person that's around now. There were body doubles that Elvis used. Be funny if they moved to Benton to confuse us even more. So I don't know. Shell is saying good night. I didn't know. I guess I knew you were here. You were here for the. Then she says, "Hi, Cindy. I am so tired." Well, I understand, Shell from Canada. Thank you. Yeah, we did talk to you before. That's right. People also, I'm confusing both broadcasts now. People also bring up the fact that where the money came from to build, where did the money come from to build the church? Because Sunday donations couldn't do that alone. They're just putting it in a box. They don't take a formal offering. Very true, Jody Smith. How much did that 9 acres cost? I don't know. It could have been that cheap. And it had that beautiful horse stable on there, so that would have upped the price. We saw the pastor at a fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago, dressed for the formal event in a like an identical outfit, the white coat and the white shirt, black tie that Elvis wore one time, and he was surrounded by very wealthy people with American Express gold cards in their wallet, so they could help him out. And also what the pastor's personal assets are, I do not know. I blog, therefore I am. Blessed evening, everyone. Same to you, blog. Nice to see you. Are you ever caught in the fog, blog? Does it ever get, to be like pea soup out there? Will you marry me, Jack? You want to find somebody that's got a lot more cheddar than me, Kathleen. I tell you that. It's CDs and autographs, yeah, autograph pictures, CDs to be autographed. Take a picture with you. There's a lot of things like that there, but I'm glad he does that. People want to share a moment with the pastor. Hopefully, they go there. Well, no matter what they go there for, if it comes time for the praise service and the preaching service, after you get over the fact that you're in the same room with him, hopefully you're giving your heart to Jesus, focusing on Jesus. If you haven't accepted Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior, you're doing that at that moment, Judy Wright, not Betty Wright, comes on and says good night. I'm getting confused here. Did I miss you before, Judy Wright? I didn't see you. But good night to you, and hopefully we'll catch you again real soon. Stephen Trump Colwell is here. Where are you from, Stephen? Nice to have you here. I've never known anybody named Trump that wasn't in the Trump family. I'll have to say that much. 56 watching right now. Please hit the like button if you haven't, if you are so inclined, and the notification bell. Sandra Warren says, I love watching him preach. Yes, yes, yes. So, yeah, the critics continue to, they often sound so redundant because they don't watch the videos. They don't know what's been said or asked before or the points that have been made before. I still hear he would be 89 if he was alive. He doesn't look 89. We've talked about all these things. We've seen pictures of Pastor Bob close up. I've given you the testimonies of people that have been there, hugged him, even people in the healthcare industry that deal with elderly people. They have given us their informed opinion. But you don't care about anything about that. The critics, you're just going to say the same thing over and over again. As long as you're respectful, as long as you're respectful, and it just gets a little redundant in that area. Jamestown, New York. You were here before, Stephen? I auditioned for a radio job in Jamestown, New York, and did not get it. I was working at WBUZ in Fredonia, New York. Maybe I told this story to you last time. But Jamestown had a cool station when music on the radio was still very, very successful. And I went down there, took the bus down because I didn't even have a car then. Took a bus down to Jamestown, and this is where my tech skills were not good enough. They quickly could see that I didn't have the tech skills, and although I would have like a 3 or 4 hour air shift playing the music, they wanted somebody that would be real good in the production room, do really great commercials, and they could quickly see that wasn't me, so I did not get that gig. It all depends how many people were at a radio station, since I had limited tech skills. Time for Farsiga. Time for my nightly dose of Farsiga. See, if there was a large air staff, there would be enough tech guys that they wouldn't care so much. But if that wasn't the case, and they were looking for a whiz guy, I'd say whiz kid, they wouldn't want to hire me. Didn't matter how good I was on the air. How good are you going to be in that production studio giving us these great commercials, which would involve at that time using razor blades to edit reel-to-reel tape? Forget it. I tell you, every self-prophecy I ever made came true. Every self-prophecy. Self-fulfilling prophecies. That's my specialty. So I swig the water, but I don't take the pill. Good night, everyone. Good night, Barbara Kendall. Thank you for stopping. Oh, yeah, you think I look like George Jones? He was a better looking man, I think. George Jones and Tammy Wynette. Country legend he was. I played his music on my first gig, WBUZ, the sound of the country at 1570. It's now I think a rock station in Nashville on the FM. They reassigned the call letters. WBUZ call letters were taken away from the owner, Hank Serafin, back in the day, because he could be too controversial, and they would say that he was racist. So I'm not saying that. They said that. He's passed away now. Dick Van Dyke is just under 100. Well, he's 98, yeah, and he looks 60. Well, he does look young. And other people that are, say, like I just saw a picture today on the Facebook, I think, of Shirley MacLaine. She's 90 now, 90 or 91, something like that. and she's unrecognizable. She looks like some woman you would see in a nursing home, looks nothing like herself. She's not using a walker, but she's just a little old frumpy lady. I don't know how that Eastern religion is working out for her. It's not revitalizing her like it should. You saw that pic too, Ted? Yeah, amazing, isn't it? I talked to her on the Larry King radio show once, till Larry took me off the air. I questioned her New Age beliefs. I said, because you bring Jesus into it too, it's got to be one or the other. It's got to be one or the other. If you believe in Jesus, what he taught doesn't line up with what you talk about. Yes, I actually said that to Shirley MacLaine, and then Larry just pulled the plug on me, as he did to a lot of people. I understand. I understand. That's how it goes. Betty White looked great when she died at almost 100. Well, not like she did when she was on Mary Tyler Moore. And then, of course, the early days when she was on Password with her former husband, the late Alan Ludden. Jack, they just say, nope, not him. Yeah, I get that too, I get that too. Cindy says he's definitely 89. I met him twice, but you're never going to convince them. And some of them know he's Elvis, and that's what I assume. They think he's Elvis Presley. They feel they know for sure he's Elvis Presley, but their job is to come on and try to, it's like you're in a James Bond movie and he presses the button because the car is chasing him, and oil or whatever comes out onto the road and the car goes sliding off the road. It's like that, Ted Richards. Slicing block with the razor blade. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I told myself I couldn't do it, Ted, and I was right. I couldn't do it. So I had a way around it when I worked at the Wall Radio Castle just down the street, WALL. We had one cart machine. They looked like 8 tracks, but they weren't. One cart machine that would record. So when I needed to do an edit, I would have, I guess, 2 reel-to-reel machines. Is that what I did? And I would quickly hit the second reel-to-reel when it was time for a splice, potting down the other one, something like that. I had a way to do it. That's all I know. And I never edited tape with a razor blade. You had the white marking pencil. I was amazed to see people do that, but I was quick to tell myself I couldn't. You still have 6 cart machines? Yeah, I didn't think they were cat machines. I didn't think you were making cats. Cool. Sticky Keys from Sticky Fingers. Okay. Sticky Fingers by the Rolling Stones, right? The Sticky Fingers album. Jody Smith, but could he be getting residuals from all the album reissues that are being pressed through the years? Yeah, I have no idea. Some would say that Riley would get that? I don't know. It's a hard thing to know those details. But when you put up a song that is obviously early Elvis Presley, like He Hideth My Soul, which you can hear on Spotify, YouTube, probably, and it's early Elvis Presley for sure, but the name Bob Joyce is there. What are you supposed to do with that? I mean, how much more of a clue do you need, How much more of a clue? Young Elvis had a very distinctive voice. Pizza does that, says Ted Richards. Yeah, sure, it was pizza. Yeah, that's right. Sometimes in late night radio, especially, you would get visitors in the studio. And it would probably guarantee that it wasn't going to be the best night of radio the disc jockey ever did. So there was Justine, who worked 2 jobs. She worked at the gas station and she worked at the bagel bakery. All night they were making water bagels. That's real New York bagels. And she called me on the request line. I had talked to her before, and she said, would you like me to bring up, it's just like 3 o'clock in the morning. No, I'm not married yet. Would you like me to bring up some hot bagels? Well, that sounded nice. It did. Said she'd bring some cream cheese too and drink for me. But I knew Justine and had a terrific crush on her. I could show you. I actually have her on my wall. Google Photos, you know. It's like a remembrance of my life, past and present. And I said, sure, Justine. And I couldn't hear the knocking. I was in a sound booth, but I would have my door open doing overnights. So I would look out the little balcony. And I told her I will keep looking out to see you there. And there she was. And I let her in at 3 o'clock in the morning. And sure enough, she had the bagels. And she looked as cute as a button. She came up to the studio, you know. She came up to the studio. And nothing much happened. I mean, not nothing, but not much happened. And by my choice. And I've lived the rest of my life thinking, did you ever hear the word no or stop? No, I didn't. So why did you? I know why I stopped. I was engaged. See, I'll tell the story to the point, only to the point that makes me look bad. I got to learn to shut me mouth, Elizabeth Gilbert. I got to learn to shut me mouth. Katina was here. Well, she's probably that story. I've been waiting for a girl like you to come into my life. I've been waiting on this one. I'll watch tomorrow. Okay, I hope you still will, Katina. Good night. I'm up late. God bless everyone. God bless you. Elizabeth Gilbert, him singing at Benton's was the eye opener. That was your moment, right? I have a video on that. I think that's the one. Well, I see. I gotta have titles of my videos. You'll be able to find it. The video, 7 reasons why people feel Bob Joyce is Elvis. He's talking about some of the that's the moment. That's now I'm sure moment. And that wasn't even one of the 7. I play part of the video from Denton's in Benton of Pastor Bob Joyce with his son, Matt Joyce. And that's the deal. That's the deal. That was an eye-opening. That was the moment for a lot of people. Ruthie Kincannon is here. Trump at a rally tonight in Minnesota. I wanted to see that, but I was preparing. I love the Trump rallies. Sometimes he speaks at other type events. It's not a Trump rally per se, but he's speaking to an organization. He does that often at rallies. Mentioned Elvis again. Really? What did he say? What did he say? Did he point to some guy with a white beard and say Elvis is here again? Huh. No, I'm not a good man. I just, that was CYA. That was CYA, Teddy. Teddy Bear by Elvis. But pizza can make things sticky. Yes, especially if you get the oily type. You got to, that was, don't eat in the studio. But when it's 3 o'clock in the morning, what you would do is you wouldn't put it right next to your control board. That could be lethal, especially a drink. You put it behind you where the reel-to-reel tape recorders were and such, which kind of sit up high. That's what I used to do. I ate in the studio at 3 o'clock in the morning. Who are we kidding here, Kim Lackey, hi. Trump was here this past Wednesday, but I did not get to see him. I would like to see Trump. I'm very concerned, though, Kim Lackey, if you and I could, have a therapy session here. I'm very concerned about all the tricks that they're going to use. Some say up to $1 billion to get Kamala elected or more. They're going to be writing for it, so it's going to sound like a whole new a whole new Kamala. Um, there's a lot of dumb people out there. Let's just be honest. There are people that will vote on the abortion issue only. Um, People that liked her comments about being childless and they're childless. So they feel, yeah, she's standing up. You can be childless and be a good person. Of course you can. Of course you can. Some women, it's not for them. They have a different life in mind. And it may even be uh, driven spiritually. It might be the Lord. Usually isn't, but it could be. It could be, out there on the mission field or what have you, or some other kind of ministry, and changing diapers and screams and yelling and postpartum depression and all that just wasn't for you. I don't judge you at all. I don't judge you at all. And by the way, abortion is not the unpardonable sin either. It's not the unpardonable sin. The blood of Christ covers a multitude of sins. It all depends where your heart is at, where our heart is at. Hi, Sammy. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I think you were here before and I just didn't acknowledge you. Patrick Phyllis came in late yesterday. It was really this morning for Midnight Ramblings. Yeah. So this is what I've decided not to do. I'm not going to be watching as much TV, including Fox News. I will see some, but I may tune out earlier than I would normally. I really don't want to hear or view clips on The View. If I wanted to watch The View, I'd watch it. I don't want to see those obnoxious people. I don't believe they stand for America at all. American values. The only way Whoopi Goldberg and I could have a very enjoyable conversation is if we talked only about the original Dark Shadows series, because we're both fanatics for that show. And she did an interview on one of the Dark Shadows tributes, and she was terrific because she was talking about, how much she loved the vampire Barnabas Collins, Jonathan Frid. That's the only way we'd have a good conversation. Other than that, I got nothing to say to her. I don't respect her opinion in any way, shape, or form, because I believe her opinion is leading to the destruction of America, leading to soulless people that don't love America, don't love the Constitution, don't love the big thing about Kamala loving freedom. She wants to ban all fracking. She wants to force you to drive an electric car. She wants to take away your gas stove. She wants to continue to have wide open borders. She is for the Robin Hood, and I don't mean Robin Hood online. Robin Hood stocks. I have some Trump stock through Robin Hood. Not much though. It's not doing well. It's doing a little better in the last few days. I'm waiting. It used to be $79 a share. Right now it's about $31 a share. So I'm going to write it down to the basement if I have to. I don't have that many shares, so I won't lose that much. But if he wins the election, maybe. I thought after that great convention, he would go way up. He did for a real quick time, and then those darn day traders took it out. So it's real hard for me, a little guy. I may not look like a little guy, Richard. You're probably gone by now. You snuck away, and you didn't even have a pass from the principal or anything. Cynthia Caldwell, not Bobby Caldwell. What was his big hit, Cynthia? Bobby Caldwell, What We Won't Do for Love or something like that. I used to play it on the radio all the time. But she's only interested in talking to Ted. I understand how it is now. Hello from Texas. I beg your pardon. Hello from Texas, Jack, and everyone. Hi. Glad you're calling from the Lone Star State where my son Corey is right now. Um, we have a lot of Texans here. A lot of Texans, yes. A lot of usually we have a lot of people from Kentucky, but welcome, Cynthia. I'm glad you're here. Paulo is here from Brazil. Cool. Isn't that with a Z? Are we misspelling your country, Paulo? Because I know you would know unless you hit the S instead of the Z. Paulo Augusto, how's things in Brazil? Your former president seemed like a really good guy, but they found a way to get that away from him. Tucker Carlson talks about that all the time, corruptness that's going on there. But don't worry, we have our share of corruption right here in the US of A, I believe, as does just about every country, right? Yeah. Neo, people in Virginia are here regularly. I have trouble with that word, Neo. So I would be doing a commercial either live on the air or I would be in the production studio after my air shift and I would be doing my production time and I would see the word regularly and I would change it to normally or something like that. Normally priced, like the Broadloom City commercial, the jingle, it was a donut commercial. The donut commercial, there's no donuts involved in donut commercials. But a donut spot commercial means that the singers will come on. We've got you covered wall to wall. The Carpet Connection had it all, and then a bed of music. That would be my job to come in there and say, this week at Broadloom City, they've got fine Berber carpet, normally priced at $99 a yard. This week, just $49.99 a yard. And the job was that I would stretch out my copy to the point where the singers would come back in right after I gave my spiel, not with a break in between. That would sound bad, but they would come in right after me and finish singing, and it would sound so cool. I always enjoyed listening to my commercials on the radio, even though they only gave me the simple stuff. I knew you weren't going anywhere, Shell. Shell. You're playing a shell game. Instead of making love, it's shell games. Yeah. Shell games. I have the picture here. Maybe I'll take it down next time. Head Games. It's a hair cutting place near Walmart in Port St. Lucie, Florida. Head Games, the name of the salon. The salon. Cynthia Caldwell, I was born in Dallas. Yes. Oh, Alice Warner was here before, and I didn't say hello. I'm so sorry, Alice. I did not mean to forget you. I saw you, but it was quick. And I want to say hello to Alice Warner. And so, Paulo, is it a Z or an S? I won't watch any Olympics with that crap. What crap is that? It was wonderful to see Celine Dion. I saw the clip. I haven't seen any of the Olympics live. I wouldn't be adverse to it, but what was rubbing you the wrong way? Yeah. I am going, but I wanted to mention the Paris disaster of the transgenders at the Olympic mocking Jesus, really. The Bible says someday he will lump burning coals on their head. Unless they repent. But he decides who gets saved and who doesn't saved. I will save who I want to save, says the Lord God. I will save who I want to save. Born in Fort Worth, near James Robison territory. James Robison, do you know that ministry, Sandra? James and his wife, Betty. I got it. They were just on trying to explain that they did not really support the pastor from Gateway Church, Robert Morris. They were not told that he was involved with when he first started getting involved with her, she was 12 years old, and he was a much younger man. He was living in the home. He had been invited to live in the home. He was a young pastor just starting out. And on Christmas, Eve, when the girl was 12, um, they had relations, as Forrest Gump was said. No, sir, we are not relations, he said to Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan, who won't work with Tom Hanks anymore. I'm sorry, but I don't work with woke actors. I don't work with woke actors. And of course, they had that iconic hit. Gary Sinise talks about it. He said he only had one scene with Robin Wright at the very end of the movie, so he didn't really know what she was doing in the movie. He didn't know. He only had one very brief scene at the same time, same scene, the wedding scene with Sally Field. So he had a few scenes with Bubba, but everything else was with Tom Hanks. So they completed Forrest Gump. They completed it, and he didn't really have a sense of, of the movie. And they went into a small screening room, the cast, and they sat down and they all watched Forrest Gump for the first time together. And he said after that, there was a lot of hugs and smiles because we knew it was good. We knew it was good. And of course, it opened a week later, and phenomenal success. Phenomenal success for Tom Hanks, who had trouble getting the role down the way they wanted it. And of course, the way they wanted it was the right way, because we've seen it many times, most of us. And so they reshot some of the stuff. Robert Zemeckis, how do you say it, was not happy with what he was seeing. He loved Tom Hanks, but he had a different vision. And once Tom got it, he just got it. And he rolled with it. He rolled with it. That's a shame that would happen. And, if they did that, if they were condemning Islam, they were condemning the Book of Islam. What am I trying to say? If they were doing that, it would be a whole, they probably pull the plug on them in real time. But you can bash Christians. You can bash Christians. That's the world we live in now. So I didn't know about that. Yeah, it's fine to, apparently it's fine to be openly hateful towards Jews in the streets of America now and try to destroy property in that name and get away with it. And so we're becoming a lawless society with worthless mayors like Bowser. And I think that Adams wants to do the right thing. Let's go to, I had that before, and I took it down. I wanted to just check on some news because there was a bombing today that they say was done by Hezbollah. See, before I leave you, I want to do that. I meant to do it earlier. My keys, some of them have no writing on them at all. It's time for a new keyboard. It really is. Let me see here. Yahoo News. Yeah, silent no more. Harris elevates her voice while still echoing Biden's something or other. We know he'd like to make some changes in the Supreme Court in the 5 months he has left. I said on Midnight Ramblings this morning, I very much doubt he will make it through to the end of the 19th of January, 2025 as president. I think it makes me nauseous to say this. Makes me nauseous to say any of it. That's why I'm not watching much coverage on it. I don't want to hear her speak and what have you. I just don't want to hear her. I'd watch a debate, of course. Watch Trump rallies and what have you. I know who she is. I know where she's coming from. And I don't want to have my blood pressure raised because I fear this is the woman that is going to destroy America. Children and teens among 12 dead in the Golan Heights attack that Israel blames on Hezbollah, raising fears of major escalation. At least 12 people, including children, were killed when multiple rockets hit a village in Israel, controlled in the Israeli-controlled Golan Heights Saturday. Israeli officials said in an attack that has said an attack that has raised fears of major escalation in the long-running conflict. Israel said that it had identified approximately 30 projectiles crossing from Lebanon into Israeli territory in a barrage. It slammed on the Iran-backed Lebanese militant group Hezbollah and described as the deadliest against it since October 7th. Hezbollah has said it firmly denies firing those rockets. So the attacks risk significant escalation. The situation at the country's border with Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowing Hezbollah will pay a heavy price. So, these are the times we live in, everybody. These are the times we live in. Jack Shell, who left us about 20 minutes ago, says, read Coffee and Tea with Susan. Coffee and Tea with Susan. Okay, I watched Trump tonight at the Wisconsin rally. By the way, hi, Coffee and Tea with Susan. I watched Trump tonight at the Wisconsin rally. Trump talked about how big his own rallies are and that Elvis had good turnouts. The Trump said, we love Elvis, don't we? Very interesting. I'll have to try to find the replay of that, but you just told me what he said. Interesting. Yeah, how sure am I that Elvis is still alive? How percentage-wise, without saying any more? 98.5%. 98.5%. And I won't say that about all the others some of you believe in, but I'll say it about Elvis. 98.5%. When you get to 50 coincidences, I think we'll do that video. When you get to like 50 so-called, I don't believe in coincidences either, let me tell you right now. When you get to 50, whatever you want to call them, I think we've gone well past the, well, if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, if it looks like a duck, it's a damn duck. That's what James Gregory, who's now passed away, said. It's a damn duck. And he says, I want to speak to the young people here, especially about climate change. He says, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I know I've said this before, but this is for new people. Don't worry about it. For as long as I have been alive, and he was an old guy, as long as I have been alive, it has been cold in the winter and hot in the summer. And here's something that'll blow your mind. Some summers were hotter than others. With that said, it's not that we disavow warming temperatures. We don't. 1, 2 degrees, whatever. We just know that it's all in God's hands, and you trying to take away people's gas-powered weed whackers is not the answer. Forcing people to the whole electric car thing. When you get to electric tractor trailers, you've gone crazy. You'd have to build all new bridges. The trucks would be so heavy. Everything would stall. You wouldn't be able to get your food in the grocery store because it would be taking these trucks on an amount of time that is unconscionable to recharge 6.5 times or more. I say more from New York to California, for example. You wouldn't be getting your avocados. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't be getting your avocados from California, Elizabeth Gilbert. So just think about that. Gene Ho, did you tell Trump about Bob? That would be like telling Trump about McDonald's. You understand where I'm coming from? Why would you tell Trump about McDonald's, right? Coffee and tea. Well, I'll take tea, Susan, if you don't mind. I prefer Tetley British Blend. I just bought some more today. at the Warwick ShopRite. I didn't want to go to the Dolson Avenue ShopRite. Some people know what I'm talking about. Most people don't, because it's just like I don't want to slum it. Managers that don't know their arse from their elbow, especially the front end managers. There are some good staff there. The baby boomers, mostly baby boomers. Other than that, they changed everything in the store that they could change, so nobody knows where anything was, but they have no commitment to change the signs hanging up in each aisle that now identify the wrong things in the aisle, because these are the XYZs staffing the place now, and they don't give a shite. They don't give a shite. And they can't hire better people in this area. But you go 15 miles up the road to beautiful Warwick, New York. Trust me, it is gorgeous. A lot of rich people live there, and it's a whole different universe. 6 registers open. They don't try to push you to the self checkout. Friendly people. Had a wonderful young lady today, not checking me out, but checking me out. Get it? Young, beautiful black woman, and I was telling her about the rice pudding over at the Florida Deli, because I said I have this with me. I had to get my rice pudding, and I can't leave it in the car. The deli closes at 4 o'clock, so I had to. Karen's in the store doing her own thing. She's in her own universe. Sometimes I give her money to help out, of course, but I buy stuff too. That's just how it is now. I can't be going down every single aisle and looking at a list, and I'm in and out kind of guy. Believe me, my wives would tell you. But anyway, so I told her about that and the Linden's chocolate chip cookies. I try not to eat too many of those. And but a few times a year we get 2 pounds of the rice pudding, and it's phenomenally good. Phenomenally good. Neo, you were in a store apparently. Fermented grapes product in stores. I think you're talking about wine. Well, you go to like California, and there's rows and rows of wines, but also in South Carolina, same thing. And then the hard liquor. I know for sure in California. Shell is a nighttime snacker. She's a midnight toker as well, but we won't talk about that. Some people call her the space cowboy woman, cowgirl. I'll get it right. Jack, I said that about Gene because they said Trump was talking about Elvis in present tense. Yeah, I did catch that. Yeah, and that is so cool, Elizabeth Gilbert. Yeah. Well, we'll have to make note of that in another video. 100% vote for Patrick Vilas. Oh, we're going past 2 hours, gang. 2:02, Auntie Rue. 2:02. Sammy, get in your closing thoughts right now. Bob is Elvis 100%, says Sam Semi. What does Amanda Grace say about that? Don't forget the big event in Hot Springs, Arkansas, August 10th and 11th. August 10th and 11th. Go to georgemagazine.com. It's the first time I'm mentioning on the show. Watch the Gene Ho interview, and you hear all about it. You'll see the commercial and everything, and his little commercial on the book on Trump that he wrote. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you for hitting the thanks button in the replay crowd. If you don't see it in this video, you'll find the thanks button in the Gene Ho interview. It takes a while sometimes to appear after the live stream is done. No drugs, Jack. What are you talking about, Shell? What are you talking about? I have to remember what I just said. I'd be able to tell you what I said in 1962. Easier. Well, I'm referring, of course, to the Steve Miller song. I'm the Joker. That's what I'm referring to those lyrics. I was always the teetotaler of the group Shell. My friends were doing speed and cocaine and other things. They would all move on from them and from those things and lead very successful lives. Um, but I'd smoke a little pot once in a while, and it would just give me the giggles and the munchies. I never saw it as a big thing, so I didn't usually buy it, but it was always passed around, that kind of thing, back in the 70s. I think it is a thanks button. Now you say it's just a dollar sign button. Did they change it? I don't know. Google wanted me to know. They wanted me to read their new standards about hate speech and stuff like that. We don't do hate speech here. We may disagree with a candidate, but we don't do hate speech. And I don't let it happen here. First name, Mike. Oh, jeez. Robin Williams is alive. And does anyone want to be blown away? Well, first of all, you got to prove the Robin Williams thing, but you can say what else you want to say. First name Mike, then give me an email. It's a button. What did I say? What? I think you're splitting hairs here, and I don't know what your point is, because I know the button. If you don't want to call it a button, it says thanks, unless they changed it to a dollar sign or something, and I haven't seen that. Robin lives in Romania, and he goes by the name, I thought you were going to say Rick James, Rick Jewers. So now you got to send me some documentation on that, Mike. I'd love to be the one that breaks that story if you don't. Fair guy, FAIR, at gmail.com. Somebody said it is not documentation. We've got so many things that point to Elvis still being alive. We've got so many things. It's a plethora. I'm not asking for a plethora, but people just come on here. Oh, Princess Di is still alive. Oh, really? Oh my God, really? That can't be the reaction of anyone that cares about journalistic integrity. And I've noticed the people on CNN and MSNBC. I'm not talking about the field reporters, Nick Robertson and all those guys, Ben Wiedemann, etc. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the anchors, and the reporters, and of course the opinion people. I won't listen to that. So you're saying they changed it to a sign, huh? Okay, well, that's new. The last time I looked, which was like just before air, it was still a thanks button. So if you're funning me, Shell, if you're funning me, it's going to cost you. It's a dollar sign inside a rectangle now. All right, so please hit that dollar sign. $1, $2, $3, $5, $10. If you've been blessed and you like what we do here, I sure would appreciate you doing that, whether you're watching me live or in the replay. As I say, if you don't see it yet in this replay, just go to the Gene Ho interview video and you can hit the thanks button there. That's all you have to do. I will put up his YouTube channel. One moment, please. I wish you would, in the live stream now, I got to go searching for it. Could you wait and put it up in the comments section of the replay, which is coming right up? Could you do it there? I mean, or at least in both places, okay? Do it in both places so I don't have to come back here to look for it. That would, but just because that guy is saying it, Patrick is now I feel guilty because Patrick has done this before. I get a lot of repeat people doing this. I'm going to have to read my list. Thank you, Patrick. I think you did this very recently, another $49.99, and I appreciate it so much. I hope it's well within your budget. I'm looking for people that haven't done it before, that like what we do. $2, $3, $5, whatever it is. Obviously, $49.99 is a blessing to me, and I appreciate that. Adrian Sternov was the first person to ever hit I'll call it the tip button, because that's what I really like to refer to it as, now a dollar sign. Adrian has a channel here. Look for it. It's kind of new and she's just starting out. But she has broadcast talent, and she just got to now find her Bob Joyce type topic. Took me 2 years to find it, although I found one with Carlton Pearson, the televangelist who lost his faith in Jesus Christ before that, but nothing like Bob Joyce. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's just, and in 2024, I don't have to go looking very far. There's always new material. But I am going to do the top 50 reasons why Bob Joyce may be Elvis. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for the month of August, which is now just around the corner. Thank you so much. The button works, says Patrick. Thank you for that $49.99. Hopefully that will inspire others. And I'm excited by $2 and $3 because it all goes into my monthly total and helps me. And as I kind of alluded to on Midnight Ramblings, it's been a tough week for me. I took a financial hit this week. Now, I'm still paying my bills and what have you, and I want to keep doing that. So this is my job. This is my job. Just like when I sat behind a radio mic all those years playing the hits, I wasn't doing it for free, except on that internet station up the road here for a little while for my buddy, the late, great Mark West. Yeah, he died 64, too young. He would not stop smoking those filterless cigarettes. Sam Sammy. Are you in California? $279. Thank you very much, Sam Sammy. I don't think you're on my list. So I have to add your name. Patrick, are you on here? I know you've given before, so. All right. I should write it. And Sam Sammy. Somebody's out there thinking he won't be saying good night quite yet. He won't be saying good night quite yet. That's my prophecy. He won't say good night now quite yet. My goodness. So Adrian, she's got a lot of talent. She's an up and coming person. Go to her channel, subscribe, and see what she comes up with. Okay. Happy Jalapeno. These are all people that hit the thanks button. Now the $sign button. I like to call it the tip button. You like the content here. Maybe you're even crazy enough to like me. Helen B. Nancy DeMarco. She was here tonight. Anastasia. Jody Smith. Elizabeth Gilbert. Cheryl Larson. John Jeffries. I don't think we've seen him tonight. Are you here, John? Ted Richards, who's here. Barbara Kendall, who said goodnight. Selena. Judy Wright, not Betty Wright, the cleanup woman. Marty Greco, he dropped in tonight. Stephen Garvis. Jane Green. Terry and Nancy Whitmore, they were off to Sleepland, but they have blessed me. Kathleen Wiedenbacher is here as well. Richard and Vivian Lee Lyon from West Palm Beach. Thank you, Grand Patriarch. Number of times, I think, including on the overnight midnight ramblings this morning. Well, now it's not this morning. We're into Sunday. Oh, my goodness. Patrick Files. Yes, there it is. Jill, Susan Safati, Cindy in South Louisiana, Dennis in Boston, my cousin from Boston, Woodley Summercraft, that's Rob, I believe, Ken, Theine, Belanca, can't read my own writing now, Venparup, June Joyner, Jane Justice, Debbie Inglis, Chris and Katina Swatsworth. This is since we started having a thanks button, now the $sign button. Kim Keplowskis and Sammy. Thank you very, very much. That is always helpful. And We are, looking into new things that we can do. I know you want more interviews. I understand that. I've got to try to nail that down. Someone hitting the hearts on that. That guy, get your donation in. And thanks again, Pugman. You're a strange man. That guy's 6, but then again, you already know that. Sandra Warren, have a blessed night and a blessed Sunday. Thank you so much. Where did I put my, oh, there they are, my scriptures. I always like to close with some of the Word of God. So hang in for that, Sandra Warren. I'm like Fred Sanford with the glasses here. Isaiah 43:19. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? Question mark. I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Thus saith the Lord through the prophet Isaiah. 2 Corinthians 5:17, Paul speaking through the influence of the Holy Spirit. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creature has come. The old has gone. So Elvis is gone. The new is here. I will not be stopped from reading the Word of God. I don't think God would stop me. 2 Peter 3, verse 9. The Lord is not slow in keeping his promises, as some understand slowness. Instead, he is patient with you, not wanting anyone to perish, but everyone to come to repentance. Deuteronomy 31:6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. We know clearly who them is now, unfortunately, in the times we live in, the last days. For the Lord your God goes with you. Did you hear that? The Lord your God goes with you. Is he your Lord? Did you make Jesus the Lord of your life by praying to receive him into your heart? He will never leave you nor forsake you. The word of the Lord. And here's John Jeffries, I just mentioned in our donor list. How are you? Good to see you. We've been on for 2 hours and 16 minutes. You can't share these videos, but you can share some of the other videos, the short ones on your Facebook, for example. Yes, amen. Jesus is Lord. Mark Neo says 12, Mark 12, Gospel of Mark 30 and 31 is one of my favorites. All right, Neo. I opened to the Gospel of Mark, Neo. What do you think of that? This could be God ordained, Neo. I mean, I would say it is. Where are you, Neo? You know my short-term memory lapses. Okay, verses 30 and 31. 30 and 31. In the NIV. Words of Jesus. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. Powerful. I love those verses too, Neo. Thank you for giving me that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you're doing good, John. Wanda comes in at the tail end here. I've seen pictures of Nancy P being played by MJ. I've seen pictures of Nancy P. That makes me think of Nancy Pelosi. You'll have to email me what the heck you're talking about, Wanda, and tell me where you're from, too. Jack the Fair Guy, Fair, Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. So God bless everyone. Cheryl Larson at the last minute. Thank you, Jack. Very interesting night. Oh, you were here, but you weren't speaking. Good night, Jack and everyone. Teresa Lee, you had gone away and then come back, right? Or you like Shell, who says you're leaving, but you never really leave. You can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. Big God bless you. We'll talk to you real soon. Please hit the subscribe, like, and the notification bell. That would be swell. We'll talk to you next time.